The Commission, through oral and written submissions gathered, concluded that there is evidence that all indigenous communities were victims of colonialism in one way or the other. However, as far as colonial land dispossession is concerned, the San, Nama, Damara and Ovaherero communities are the most affected. In addition to being recognized and given preferential treatment in the land reform process, these communities are demanding restitution, which include renaming of places.
The restitution may take several forms. For example, restoration in full or in part of the areas that are claimed as ancestral land, compensation if restoration cannot be done for the areas that are claimed as ancestral land, or granting alternative land. Restitution was also regarded as renaming of places that have been given names by colonialists. The what has also come out is that the community was saying, yes, some of the economic activities, particularly mining, tourism, takes place on ancestral land, and the communities are deriving no benefits.
The communities further complained that the current land reform and resettlement program is insensitive to their needs, as it reportedly only favors the rich, powerful, and the politically connected. Another perception, the Commission says, is that the program benefited heavily people from regions which were least affected by the colonial land dispossession and is geared towards individual resettlement as opposed to communities.
Resettlement programs in the current form, particularly where they concentrate on individual resettlement, will not satisfactorily and in an equitable manner address the plight of the landless in the country, given the finite nature of the land, as we have discussed it earlier. The Commission will furthermore found that the National Resettlement Policy and Land Reform Programs, in its current form, also lacks adequate post-settlement support mechanism.
The Commission also uncovered some unintended consequences of the ancestral land claims. These include perceived threats and demand to current land rights holders, and perception that those least affected by colonial land dispossession should not benefit from resettlement in regions inhabited by the most affected. As a result, the Commission recommends a pro-national approach in line with constitutional provision on free movement of people.
We further recommend that within 2 years from the date of this inquiry, from the date actually, I must say from the date that we have presented the final report to Your Excellency, government creates a legislative framework and an institutional framework to give definitional objects, and institutional mandate and legal certainty regarding ancestral land claims and restitution.
Government is to study the draft report as it awaits the final one to be presented before the end of the Commission's term next year.
I knew that's a difficult task, but you have done a great job already to help us to, people have to talk about the dialogue. The dialogue, talking, you may understand each other and not suspect each other. When we not talk, we think that somebody is against me, they don't like me, and so on. When you come to, and I always say, when diplomacy fails, people go to war. The same with us. If we don't talk and know each other, we think I'm against you, but I know where I stand. So this kind of process of engaging and dialogue and studies will help us to build our country, the only country we can all call our home.
Whether it is a collective land resettlement program, as you are suggesting, against an individual, those are some of the issues in economic terms. How do you, everybody needs to work. We have to be, the aim is food security and the provision of food. But if you say you give farms to a collective, there are also issues that may arise.
The Ancestral Land Claims and Restitution Commission recognizes the initiatives by the government since 1990 to try and empower the affected communities, but maintains there is still room for improvement to achieve complete social justice. Blanche Koreses, NBC News, Windhoek.